everybody, my name is Alex. Have you ever heard of a useful invention that people often use today? Well, it's not electricity or paper that you think, but it's one type of food, and that's true. It's like creamy and nutty and comes from all different types and comes from the cocoa tree and that you name it. Nutty milk and chocolate mix and all of sorts of other types is chocolate. And chocolate today is the useful invention that people often use. And now today, I will tell you all about chocolate as useful invention this world will use. So now let's begin. The history of chocolate began first inside a country like where the Mayans live. You know the Mayans is a type of Native American, like in Central America for a long time. I'm not sure because it's the quite specific location. It's usually in Central America. And one time, monkeys knew all about it. At first, they discovered that they decided to found out the rainforest in Central America and that they will found out about what is the cocoa tree. With creepy crawlies and strange plants, they decided to find out about the cocoa pod, and they usually every day they use the white sap and then drink it. It's yummy and sweet pulp, and soon they spat out the seeds in the middle. And they continued this process for a long time. When the farmers realized and then copied the monkeys, they decided to follow it. And soon everyone was eating the white pulp and white sweet pulp and spitting out all the seeds. And that gave a delicious smell, which attracted monkeys. And soon they all soon grew. But one farmer decided to have a way to get the smell away from preventing it from growing. So he added a leaf and dried it, copied it, and dried it over the sun, roasted it in a muffin a little bit, let it in the sun for a little bit too, and soon he invented the cocoa seed. Yes, the cocoa seed, which is, well, he tasted it, it's rather bitter. He decided to transform it into water. He added a cup of water, let it dry a little bit, and soon, ta-da! There was the invention of the cocoa chocolate. And cocoa was spreading everywhere. The emperor was crazy all about it. And he was named, and also he decided to found out that he loved cricket, and he loved chocolate and cocoa, that he dreamed about it. And soon everyone was taking a sip from the coffee, and soon it was spread all over the country in Central America. It spread it from Panama to just Guatemala to other places when the cocoa tree spread, and it even spread a little bit from the northern South American continent. Really? Yes. Because it soon spread so popular that the emperor decided to drink it all day. But soon a rival came. When a fierce group of people named the Aztecs decided to come there. Hey, decided to talk about the cocoa, and so they're spreading everywhere. And you guessed it, they became popular to Montezuma, because it's the emperor of the Aztecs. And soon it's spreading like wildfire all over the Aztecs. It's spreading through the Mexican continent, all over it. And soon it spread from far north and even a little bit places from the US, from the South US. But soon it did not become popular and decided to push it back because, well, it didn't stay a secret in Latin America or Central America for a long time until, boom! Spanish arrivals go into in the 1500s. The 1400s, the 1500s, they started invading the Aztecs country, and they decided to take over Mexico. Hey there, I'm an explorer, so that's why I need to find some land to grow cocoa. After some few battles in 1520, they decided to take peace. So the Montezuma decided to give the one explorer named is like a Hernan Quartz, and they decided to find out. He said it was delicious. Hernan Quartz said that it was delicious, but soon Hernan Quartz said it was rather bitter. But soon he also still fought from the Aztecs. He made the trip to Central America, and soon when they drove home in 1528 to the 1530, they decided to make peace. But the Spanish explorers are full of treasures from the Aztecs, including cocoa beans. Later on, before, it was considered as money. You know that because 10 beans cost about one rabbit. It's a small one. Like, I'm joking because a slave cost about 100 beans. Soon, it became so popular that it spread all over Europe into France, Portugal, and some other countries. So, like, how did it get from there? They decided it was crazy. Found out all about. They were the ones who decided to stage chocolate, cocoa, and they decided to get cocoa spreading all over Europe, and that's how its formation soon spread like wildfire all over. In Central America, people still use chocolate and froth as just the froth, they like the froth because, they decided they were still popular in Central America, but one thing that they didn't know is that still cocoa bean was still popular, and the queen was, the king was very, very crazy. Was very super crazy, not just crazy at all, but it's a super crazy one. And soon chocolate gossip will spread fast. In the 1700s, they decided to find out a new way for new inventions to come. They spread all over Europe, mostly in the park. But in the 1900s, in 1907, 1820, Hernan Cortes, yes, made the trip already, but they decided to make the trip again, which is they traveled all over Europe, and so that's why Europe became a popular treat. And people are starting to talk about chocolate gossip. Hey, what's there? My grandma or grandfather said that it tasted like melted chocolate or melted clouds. And one said that chocolate is the best. I loved it. Maybe one day I'll find out and then I'll be an expert of chocolate. Or maybe people said that chocolate is like eating a mouthful of candies in your mouth. And soon, new inventions had occurred in the 1800s. And in the 1900s, it was super better. Yes, they can find out all about chocolate. And chocolate was soon ready to be started. Unfortunately, rich Europeans only had the chance to take a sip of this delicious and nutritious treat. And soon, poor people could only dream about chocolate. In fact, they painted in walls, even the Aztecs, and also the Mayans copied it. So people could dream about chocolate, right? But one thing is secret that is spread all over. But soon, useful inventions started spreading all over Europe so that more inventors could make cheap cocoa. Cheap cocoa, and people often shout, "Hey! A cup each day gets the doctor away." A cup of cocoa each day gets the doctor away. Is it funny? Right. And cheap chocolate is spreaded like wildfire even for poor people. And more people started drinking at a record pace inside the 1800s and the 1900s. So, what next? What's the deal for it? They soon had a vat they soon get a vat. Soon it was squeezed into like a mold or something like that. And a vat which was created by the inventor Rudolf Lindt. He invented it. And soon it spread more and more and more chocolate mixing. And soon, one time, Francis Fry thought, "Hey, I just hate drinking cocoa." Why? Because he wanted to eat it, and his only dream about it. Because in 1847, Cornald van Houten in Holland, Netherlands, decided to make half of the answer. So he decided to make one delicious treat. He started pouring water and cocoa beans and mixed them, and soon it will turn into a nutritious, and like when you taste it, it's rather a little bit bitter, but soon he added it to sugar. That's what the Spanish people in 1520 done when they invaded the Aztecs. And so he decided to mix it and put it into the oven, then dried it a little bit. He added it into a bar, and soon he dried it and freezed it. And soon he let it cool down for a little bit so that he can eat it because it was a little bit too hard. And soon it dried off and he made the world's first chocolate ever bar. And soon more useful inventions and people again gossip about these chocolate bars spread fast. He made it as cheap as he could, but it didn't make much sense. But a person made it, and soon they decided to get the right answer. And more people started to eat and drink it. More people eaten it than ever before. But they decided, what about in the place that we could eat? In the 2000s, there was in 1907, there was Milton Hershey. Milton Hershey, who is that? Actually, he decided to invent one other because he decided to call his invention. Actually, it was like a chocolate candy, the original one that melts and it's a little bit dirty, but he decided to call it in the same way, but a shorter size. And he made the first world's small chocolate candy. He decided to call them Kisses, and people loved them. More chocolate gossip was spreading more and more fast, and it soon came contact to Asia, and then to Africa, and then to Australia, and more places decided to go it forever. More and more places decided to eat chocolate bars as a normal way. But some places said that it was too expensive. Too expensive, right? So, how can we deal with this? So that's how they decided to make it place. Because Howell Campbell in 1912 decided to make like a delicious gooey. He made it in so many materials that he decided to add marshmallows, sugars, and mixing milk and chocolate together with the original one and freeze it for a little bit and dry it and cool it off and then add some sugar and sweets inside it. And he made a round size of a chocolate. He decided to add toppings and sugary toppings on side it. And so he said it was delicious gooey. It was delicious gooey. That's what he said, and soon he decided to call it the Goo Goo Cluster. And at the same year, a Belgian inventor named Jean was deciding to invent, hey, what are we going to deal with this? I want to make something more creative. He decided to make more inventions, and more people decided to start making it and ever. What's that invention? But he decided to make it a chocolate still. And he decided to make it a chocolate wrapping with nutty tricks, and he decided to nutty mix it with chocolate. Right. And soon when Frank got the idea, he also made first the naughty. He added a fluffy naughty inside in the bottom and surrounded it a little bit a nutty mix, and he surrounded it with chocolate in the third part. You can only imagine it. You can type it in Google if you want to see it. I cannot make this easier, but in the 1941, in the early 1940s, his daughter, which is Forrest, decided to make a candy that a chocolate candy that wouldn't melt inside your hand, not like the invention of kisses in 1907. And he decided to make it an American person, and soon he decided to make money and decided to make it in all sorts of different colors and materials. He also writes it and called it M&Ms. M&Ms. You heard that special treat before, and have you ever eaten it? It's so delicious and you wouldn't eat it in your mouth. And that's what I said. You can get mouthfuls of it. It's so delicious that today, in the 2000s, chocolate became the world's most famous treat. And soon, one of the most famous treats, and so you spread it. As you know it, you all name it from all the different wonderful inventions the Mayans to people that made. So that's why chocolate is, I think, a useful invention for people that can eat. And I hope you enjoy for this crunchy, delicious, delightful presentation about chocolate, which is nutritious and munchy. Now, you will be surprised that you'll be hungry, and now you get a piece of chocolate and eat it. And this is the end, and hope you enjoy your chocolate bar, and goodbye everybody. Thank you for listening.